Yo, what's up? It's AI, the Anomaly, and you are listening and watching Pen Game 101. Let's go.
Yeah. Check the pin game, check the pin game. Got your favorite rappers going insane. Then we run the gauntlet like the end game. So what you waiting for? Check the pin game.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Justin Sarachik, editor-in-chief of Rapzilla.com, and we are back with episode 7 of Pen Game 101. And today we have a special episode because we have AI, the Anomaly, on, and she's going to talk about her new project, Soul's Acrylic. I'm here with my panelists, Luke DiMarzio, Elijah Matos, and Cutright. And we are going to first give you the pen where we break it down. Then she's going to join us for the game where she's going to do some amazing things probably. And then we're going to ask her some questions. She's going to take us to school on the 101. So let's start it off. Let's break down Soul's Acrylic. We're going to kick it to Luke for the first track, which is Soul's Acrylic.
Yeah, man, we're just starting out with like vibes. We got rain pouring down. It sounds like the typical intro to a hip hop album. So there's like a bass line. This happens a lot throughout this album. There's like a live bass track, like someone's actually playing the bass, moving around organically. And then she starts like with this spoken word thing. And she's talking about the blank canvas she's painting on. And then it's like a stream of consciousness, but the song continues to build to where like all of a sudden it's not an intro anymore and it's a song. And so what's really cool is also how that instrumental bed underneath her changes, and it stays organic though. There's congas and bongos, and then like the kick and the hi-hat come in a little later. So yeah, I just really noticed how all of this is like ramping up in and setting the tone for what the rest of the album is going to sound like. And then also her rhymes at the end of this, she's foreshadowing the names and the themes of things that are going to happen later in the album. And this is my first listen that I wrote this down, but like I'm already noticing that she's talking about other tracks in this. And so that's pretty cool how she was able to do that. It's a really dope way to start out an album. And it's a pretty long intro. So I guess I call it a song, but it's kind of an intro too. But anyway, it was dope. It was really dope.
Next track was Eastside, right? And this record was nasty. Like, it's nasty, you know what I mean? Like, I know this joint been out for a while, but every time I hear it, like, I think that Method Man about to tag in because the beat just so grimy, you know what I mean? Yeah, she just sit back in the hook like she just chilling in a hammock on a swing, just singing. And then she just come back with the verse with the chainsaw, like, you know what I'm saying? The one thing that I really appreciate about AI is the fact that she still keeps the overall theme in mind throughout the song as well, while still weaving out there with the terrific tongue tapestries in case somebody's shivering out in the cold from her delivery because it's so cold.
Following up on Cut was speaking some facts, and you know what the next track is called? The next track is called Facts, all right? And there's a series of bars in the first few seconds of this thing that is absolutely insane. AI is like, my business is philanthropic. I capture truth with my optics. I put profit in other markets, invested in younger pockets because next gen they be watching. Like, yo, who gave anyone the right to rap like this? That's not okay. And then she unleashes what I call the Holy Ghost salvo of lines. I'm indifferent. My mission ain't to be top position. My ambition is rooted deep in the Holy Scriptures. My intent is to point them all to the crucifixion, exposing lies and shine a light on the contradiction. He gave me light, and with this life, I choose to live it. That's just the rapidy rap. That's crazy. Every single bar, you're just riding with it, and it's absolutely insane. I also appreciate the nuance the AI brings to the conversation of being not only a woman in hip-hop, but a Christian woman, where she's choosing to embrace the Christian worldview. But in doing so, it kind of contradicts ideas that are like the over-sexualization of women that's popularized in hip-hop culture. So love the song, and the bars just go insane.
All right, Yos, right? So the next record was Freedom Palace. And this joint made me want to dance around the crib like I was Cinderella at the ball. I got on glass flip-flops, you know what I'm saying? The imagery on this joint was vibrant as ever, painting a portrait of her early childhood and the thoughts that many of us had as feelings that many of us have wrestled with at times, like, you know, why God make me, what a waste of a seed. I mean, just dealing with the struggles of your purpose, you know what I'm saying? Just laying out the hardships she went through, rejoicing in the fact that regardless of how she may have felt, she now has all that she requires because she's secure in Jesus, right? Then Soul Child Sanders slides in with the love, 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 love. You know what I'm saying? Switches it up in the third, then gets busy. You know, whenever Jared Sanders shows up for work, it's finna be overtime. Business has picked up like it was trash, and we on the highway, and we just picking up. That's how he pick up business. And just when you thought it was over, the beat switches and AI go deeper, revealing to us where God has rescued her from, bearing her soul like she ain't got no shoes on, just like look at my feet, you know what I mean, and just look at the bottom of my shoes, you know what I'm saying? Then following that, she comes back with Kodak, not Kodak Black, but Kodak camera, because it's about memories, you know what I mean? And this project is so emotionally heavy. Like, this is another one that weighs heavy on the heart of AI. She looks back at her journey from being adopted and the after effects of motherhood, dealing with postpartum depression, thanking God for keeping her through all of the pain and all the suicidal thoughts that she had wrestled with, and the valleys that she's emerged from. I think so many who have been through so much of the same, and yet for her to bear it all out there the way that she has, all across this project up to this point, serves as therapeutic for her while positioning her in the place of therapist for countless others.
The next track is Don't Fail Me. And so I actually heard this track last year, and I actually got to chop it up a little bit. So we have this internal conversation with ourselves about how we don't want to fail those that we love, but at the same time, we're pleading with them to not fail us. So it's interesting to me how, like, I heard this last year just by itself, but then placed into this album, it fits perfectly. And it was like she just knew what she was doing, you know? So it was really great how it fits into the larger scheme of the project. Yeah, and I just always thought it was going to be a single that stood on its own, but the direction that it all goes, and especially with the little snippet at the end, it just connects it to the other ways, the other stuff in beautiful ways. And so, yeah, this is a good track. Solid.
Absolutely. Next track is Grab My Hand. And I'm going to need everyone or someone to bring concerts back so we can feel this one live, because the singing on this song is absolutely insane. AI says, hoping you're here, screaming out, hopeless, grab my hand, I'm here, my friend. And that is just such a painful plea. And so much so, you know, I almost let out a thug tear or two. I love the perspectives that are represented on this one, both the person begging for help and the one seeking to give it, but seeming just too far. This one also introduces the role of AI as a sister and the struggles that her brother is going through. So we got to keep her brother in prayer. But it's just so hard because she wants to reach him so bad. He just doesn't accept her help. And that's kind of just the brokenness that's represented on this song. It just, the vulnerability is just much appreciated.
All right, so the next track was Not Okay. This joint had heavy Jill Scott vibes. Like, I'm talking Words and Sounds, Volume 1. Let's take a long walk through the park after dark. But bring a flashlight. I mean, her honesty and her vulnerability was on full display here, tackling her mental instability and the masks that she chooses to wear, as many of us do, before coming to herself and asking, who am I running from? As if deciding then and there that she's going to face her issues head on.
Yeah, and then the next track is called Journal Entry 6. This is something that she brings up in all of her projects. She has something named Journal Entry. Her last project, she had Journal Entry 5, and so it makes sense. This one's called Journal Entry 6. But she's having a conversation with her daughter here about what a journal is, and it's kind of following this theme of her being able to pass on the way she views life to her kids throughout a lot of this. It's so deep. There's so many different levels to what she's doing in this whole project, but she kind of raises the curtain on this idea that this song will be one of her journal entries. And so this song is about how she's looking for better days. She's got a lot of soul to these melodic performances. It's really crazy how she can flip back and forth from singing to rapping just so effortlessly. She doesn't just hang out in these melodies because she's really intent on when she's going to flow. And she's got some crazy rhyme schemes here. Meanwhile, the killers creep, bullets flying by, coming like lullabies, corners with candlelight. Serve you like dinner time, this little light of mine, I'ma let it shine. But she throws this like airy Kendrick Lamar like raspy voice thing on top of it, and it just sounds so crazy. Man, I just feel like she can just really do anything on a mic. Like, I think it's just all about performance. She's an amazing performer on the mic. The beat on this one is really easy for me. Like, there wasn't really much to it. It doesn't change much except for pauses that enhance the punchlines. And so you just forget to even pay attention to the beat because of what she's able to do on the mic. So they work hand in hand that way, that when the performance works hand in hand with the beat, you got a really good song. So, yeah, and she ends with this crazy line. It's really good. I'm not oppressed by my skin. I'm oppressed by my sin. You too. I was like, yeah, that's great. Let's go.
All right. The next track after that was Relentless, featuring Bizzle. I dig the production change here. You know, a lot of the tracks before this that far had a really top up north Griselda type of feel. You know what I mean? Early 90s, just that grimy slime on the wall, subway rats running around, you know what I mean? But this change was kind of a little bit more current. You already know what Bizzle showed up to do. If you ain't know by now, you know after listening to this, you know what I mean? From the first bar to verse, he was already foot to the floor with the gas. The AI got tagged back in on the second verse, and she came off the top rope with the people elbow, reminding listeners that she is not the token female rapper on the crew like a mill. You know what I mean? But she's an Amazon warrior on a roster full of verbal Spartans and lyrical Leonidas. And I'm just saying, what happened to the for God I live, for God I die? These numbers rise, the pride go high. Like what else could be said? You know what I mean? This record was a steel toe boot step on the Nikes of this thing called Christian hip hop. The fresh white Nikes of this thing called. Selah was in the back. He was on his hoodie season. Then he went and threw the triple fat goose on top of that joint and went off. And Selah is one of the best pens in the game. He never disappoints on a record. Check his record if you think I'm lying. I ain't never lying. Because Jesus live in me and Jesus not a liar. God is not a man. He should lie. Anyway, then AI came back from behind with the shank. She's like, yeah, chick, yeah. You know what I mean? The stabbing folk with the bars. And it was all piercing truth. It was all truth. You know what I mean? Calling a spade and questioning what happened to those things that we had in place to keep an artist accountable and to the standards of the faith that we used to hold to. What happened?
The next track, Gold. And so like we're 12 tracks in now, and I'm recalling how each of these songs is constructed. And so at the beginning of this, I'm like, wow, none of these songs has started the same way. Sometimes we got like a guitar swell, or we start out with spoken word, or we start out with the hook, or we start out with a guest feature vocalist, or we got some boom bap starting off the song. So it's pretty crazy. We're 12 tracks in, and none of these songs has started the same way. I feel like all the textures in these songs is different. She's crafting something different with every track, and that's really cool to do. Especially in a longer project, artists tend to get formulaic, but so not in AI's case. I appreciate the intentionality behind how everything ebbs and flows together. The keys in this instrumental on this song, Gold, it sounds like chimes that would be part of a 70s game show or a sitcom theme song. And so Eshawn comes in at the top of this song, and man, it's just crazy. I appreciate also how AI lets herself clean up after most of these features. It's just really cool. I think I'm used to hearing features later in songs. So this is just an observation, but I just thought it was really cool. She lets everybody else go first, and then she like one-ups them almost, every time. I really like, just the whole idea of empowering, respecting Black women. I wrote down these bars here. Tell me what's the root of it all, or do I evolve? Am I a queen or a slave? Strip the chain or strip for change? Grip the stain, it's a myth to change. No victim blame, I overcame all your whips and chains. You could see the pain, past full of evil aims. Hit or miss, clench a fist, I see what the missiles did, but we never lose. I'm like crazy. She just goes from rhyme scheme to rhyme scheme, like just perfectly. It's beautiful, beautiful.
Facts. I do want to chime in and say, as a Black man, I love this record's celebration of strength, beauty, and boldness of the Black woman. You know what I mean? This record was beautifully necessary, and the fact that it comes from another Black woman giving flowers to her sisters in the struggle, reminding them that they are of value, that they are virtuous, and that they are royalty is phenomenal, and we need more records like this, please, preferably featuring Jackie Hill Perry. I'm just saying.
Next track is called Grown Woman, and Grown Woman has a real mysterious vibe in its production that's pretty subtle, but it's accompanied by some really killer lines. And if you guys don't know it by now, AI the Anomaly can rap, right? She goes, Woman, pack light and keep your faith right. God first, where we aim. It don't matter what the day like. This dark gonna come, so prepare in the day.